Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana.
Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana.
Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I want to pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I want to pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I want to pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I want to pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I want to welcome all of you to our Sunday satsang at the Sri Narayan Dham, Sri Sudarshan Goshala in Durban, South Africa. And I want to welcome those of you that's watching this discourse on live feed locally, nationally and internationally. Continuing with the trend of expounding Lord Narayan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our topic for discussion today is Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Part 3 in this series. And for those of you that's listening to this discourse for the very first time, I'm just going to go into the background. A few years ago, when I wanted to know who Lord Narayan is, I could not find any book either in the bookstore or on the internet comprehensively explaining who Lord Narayan was. However, I had snippets of information from parts of the Vedas that are scattered around that Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In lieu of this, I took it as an indication that in addition to my mission of expounding the Guru principle, which culminated in expounding the Vishishadvaita philosophy of Lord Sri Ramanuj, that it had now become my duty to provide to the Western world information as per Vedic injunctions that Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through my own realizations, through my own experiences with Lord Sriman Narayan, through the experiences of my center and the various devotees who have experienced Lord Narayan, I have chosen to do a series of discourses on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan. Lord Brahma is the first created living entity, and he is also prone Satagun, Rajogun and Tamogun. In certain epochs, epochs, that prevailed in Tamogun, certain epochs that prevailed in Rajogun, and certain epochs that prevailed in Satogun, and there are certain epochs that prevailed in the mixture of Satogun and Rajogun. So when Lord Brahma, when he was influenced in Tamogun, he would state in the Puranas that Lord Shiva was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he prevailed in a mixture of Rajogun and Satagun, then he would proclaim in his Puranas that the Devi was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he prevailed in Satagun, he would proclaim that Lord Narayan was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So again, using logic and determining that Satagun is the purest state of mind, and only in that state of mind the absolute truth will be revealed to you, then it is obvious that in the proclamation of who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, we will reject all those Puranas that were spoken by Lord Brahma when he was mixed in Satagun and Tamogun, or when he was mixed in Tamogun and Rajogun, or when he was mixed in, or when he was in Tamogun himself. Would that taken care of, because many that are in Sanatana Dharma have various conceptions of who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. And since time immemorial, people have been fighting whether Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or whether Lord Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or whether the devotees are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because this information was not very clear and it was not expounded clearly to the followers of Sanatana Dharma, they branched off. Those that believe that Lord Narayan was the Supreme Personality of Godhead called themselves Vaishnavites. Those that believe that Lord Shiva was the Supreme Personality of Godhead called themselves Shaivites. And those that believe that the devotees were the Supreme Personality of Godhead called themselves the Shaktas. To correct this misunderstanding, we need to get into the constitution of Sanatana Dharma itself, because no man has the capacity to determine who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Then we retrace our roots to the four Vedas. And within the four Vedas, there are four sections: the Samhitas, the Brahmanas, the Aryana Vakas, and the Upanishads. The Samhitas and the Brahmanas are for Brahman and Pandits who should be trained in those mantras specifically to perform specific rituals to the various cosmic administrators in this universe. The Aryana Vakas and the Upanishads is to take you from ritualism into spiritualism. The meaning of Upanishad is come sit near. The meaning of Upanishad in Sanskrit to English is come sit near. And as Sanskrit words have 4 or 5 meanings, the other meaning is to obliterate your ignorance. So Upanishad means come and sit near and obliterate your ignorance. And it is for this reason that I have assembled you today and for the past 5 years to come and sit near, because sitting near means sitting near a self and God realized Guru who has soaked himself comprehensively with the Upanishads. This is the message and the title of Upanishad. Upanishad means come and sit near. It also means to obliterate the ignorance in your mind. So the Guru principle starts the very second the spiritual principle starts. For without the Guru principle, you cannot attain the spiritual principle. You can sit with your Pandits and continue thriving in your ignorance through the ritual principle. The Vedas were designed perfectly by the perfect person, and there is no contradiction. It is a process. It is an absolute process with absolutely no contradictions. These contradictions are there because Westerners translated Sanskrit into English, not taking the context and the meaning or the specific meaning of the word that was transcribed or translated from Sanskrit into English. And it is these Western translators of Sanskrit that has brought confusion not only in the Western world, because now India herself has westernized, it has brought and sown confusion in the mind of those that call themselves Hindus in India as well. So this confusion is reigning around the world, that the Vedas is a mythology, it is ancient, and it contradicts itself. 1,000 years ago, to set this in its perspective, Lord Sri Ramanuj took his birth. And over a period of 60 years, he took all of the Vedas. He took the Puranas, and he took the Upanishads, he took the Mahabharata, and he took the Ramayana, and he placed all of them together. And he walked through, hand in glove, with all of these scriptures without finding any contradiction in any aspect of the Vedic injunctions. And within the 60 years of his arduous realizations, he has given man, and he is the only saint to do so. 1,000 years ago, he has given man Vedanta. Vedanta are two words, Veda and Anta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. So Vedanta will mean end of knowledge. End of knowledge in the Vedas from the four segments would be the Upanishads. So in every Vedas, or in each Veda, the last segment called the Upanishad will mean end of knowledge. So you started from the Samhitas, you went into the Brahmanas, you went into the Aryana Vakas, and then you went into the Upanishads. When you reach the Upanishad, the final verdict will be given in the Upanishad, because the Upanishad is the end of knowledge in Vedanta. So Lord Sri Ramanuj took the 108 Upanishads and he lined them together. Then he went into the consciousness of the Upanishads and he realized the absolute truth through the Upanishads. For the rule is that the last word in the Vedas will be the final word. And the last word in the Vedas is the 108 Upanishads. 108 Upanishads make Vedanta. And Vedanta means the end of knowledge. And if it is not found in the Vedanta or the 108 Upanishads, then it does not exist within the constitution of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is not like these Abrahamic religions where you are only instructed through scripture. If you don't, you'll be doomed. Sanatana Dharma is absolute and pure science. You can approach Sanatana Dharma as a scientist. You can experiment Vedanta. You can experience Vedanta. For in Sanatana Dharma, we do not teach you to believe with a gun on your head that if you don't believe, then these are the ramifications. In Sanatana Dharma, we ask you to experience God. We don't want you to believe in God. Believing in God is too far away. We want you to experience God. And when you experience God, then you know God. When you believe in God, you need not know Him. All of you understand? But when you experience Him, you know Him. And when you know Him, then you are self-realized and God-realized. So this is the purpose, the end purpose of Sanatana Dharma. So Sanatana Dharma starts from rituals to give gratitude to the various devis and devatas that are the cosmic administrators of our universe. Then it asks you not to stop there. You need to start inquiring about Brahman. And you should ask yourself, who am I? Where did I come from? What am I doing here? And how do I get out? These are the 4 questions you should start asking yourself after performing all your kathas and jandas, all your rituals. It does not stop in the ritual. It is only a stepping stone to the next step. So the rituals is the beginning of the Vedas, and the Upanishads, where you need to connect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the end of the Vedas. Nowhere in the Vedas is religion, race, or creed mentioned. It is coincidental that Indians born in India and the Vedas were spoken in India. It is not spoken for the Indians. It is spoken for mankind. The Vedas is spoken for mankind. And it is for this reason the Vedas does not convert anyone. The Vedas or Sanatana Dharma does not convert people. There is no reason to convert you because you are already Sanatana Dharma. Nobody can be not Sanatana Dharma. Your constitutional position, you took your birth through the Vedas. Vedas is your scripture, no matter what religion you are following. So, we want to identify now from the Upanishads who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. So, if the Upanishads is the end of knowledge, then from what source must we now get a name on who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is? The Upanishads. The Upanishads must tell you who you are. The Upanishads must tell you who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. The Upanishad must tell you in relation to yourself and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is the reason for this creation and how the three are related. Who you are, what creation is or what matter is, and what or who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. These three clarifications must be found in the Upanishad itself, because the Upanishad is the end of knowledge. So within this 108 Upanishads, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is often referred to as formless and also referred to as having form. Then some Upanishads state that the individual soul merges into the Supreme Personality of Godhead and becomes God Himself. And other Upanishads state that the individual soul is individual. So we have to look in which context this was stated. Particular gurus with a particular view or a particular philosophy will interpret a particular Upanishad for his own purposes. And one of these gurus or acharyas was Lord Acharya. So when he did his commentary on the Upanishad, he stated that God is formless. And he also stated that the individual soul merges into the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he also stated that this world is an illusion. However, when he gave a commentary in the Bhagavad Gita, he states in his own Bhagavad Gita very, very clearly in the invocation that Lord Sri Krishna is an incarnation of Lord Sriman Narayan, and that Lord Narayan alone exists when this material universe is annihilated. Sri Acharyaji himself, in his own commentary of the Bhagavad Gita, states that behind this material creation is Lord Narayan. Okay? So various gurus will give you various indications of his own philosophies. For those of you with the scientific mind, those of you that are scientifically inclined, we know that everything is energy. God is energy, the soul is energy, and matter is energy. Can energy be formless? And what is formless? Through which instrument would we be able to determine form? How many potencies does the Supreme Personality of Godhead has? Can formlessness be one of his potencies? We need to use our scientific mind. What would be the reason to create a rehabilitation center would form if our eternal constitution and our eternal residence is formless. Because the material universes are here to rehabilitate the ignorant soul so that he can go back to his eternal lodgings and live with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why would God give us form to go back into a formless world? Logic. Okay? We have to use logic. Today at 4 o'clock, I'm going to give a discourse on the metaphysical man. So this discourse that I'm going to give in Stanger is going to tie in and become supplementary to this discourse that I'm giving now. Okay, and it will answer this question that I posed at 4 p.m. today. So coming back to the Upanishads, we stated that whatever form the Supreme Personality of Godhead has, it must be declared in the Upanishad. And that section in the Upanishad must state clearly that this section has been specifically created to declare who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Don't you think? So I'm going to, now when these seemingly contradictory aspects of the Upanishads were found, the single author of the Upanishad or the collator of the Upanishad, Vedas, took all of these contradictions and he wrote them in thumb notes. Thumb notes, 1 or 2 lines. So he took all the contradictions from the Upanishads or seemingly contradictory parts of the Upanishads and he called it the Brahma Sutras or the Vedanta Sutras. The Vedanta Sutra clears all contradiction by the author himself. However, many Acharyas have translated the Vedanta Sutra to suit his mood at that particular time that he lived in. Lord Sri Ramanuj, this work took him 60 years. The compilation of the Vedanta Sutra took him 60 years. Just 554 sutras, only 554 sutras. It took him 60 years to compile because he wanted to make sure that no aspect, not even one sutra in the Upanishad will have another meaning. You understand? So in his 60 years, he took all of the Upanishads and he lined them up together. Then he took the Vedanta Sutra and he took the 544 verses or 54 verses, he placed them with the Upanishads. Then he merged into the consciousness in which the Upanishads and the sutras were written, and then he realized in that merged consciousness how to explain away all of these contradictions. And he has done an impeccable work that no saint has matched to date. It is impregnable. What does impregnable mean? It cannot be touched. The work of Sri Ramanuj cannot be touched, because if you undo the commentary of Sri Ramanuj on the Vedanta Sutra, then the entire Upanishads will unravel. That is why he took 60 years. So there are other commentators who commentated on Sri Ramanuj's commentary, and they gave the name Vishishadvaita. When Sri Ramanuj did his commentary, he did not create a separate philosophy. And this is why I say that Vishishadvaita is in reality Vedanta. And Lord Sri Ramanuj's Vedanta and his commentary is exactly what Lord Sriman Narayan spoke when he gave the various saints and sages these messages in the Upanishads. Are you clear? All of you. So, no other saint can undo the commentary of Lord Sri Ramanuj, because Lord Sri Ramanuj has not left one gap for any Acharya in this Kali Yuga to come and lodge a sutra out of his building of sutras. It is stuck in the glue of Lord Sriman Narayan, and Lord Sriman Narayan is the creator of the glue. He is the glue himself. It is impregnable, impossible. There are no other versions of the Vedanta than the version given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan himself. And what Lord Ramanuj has done, he has perfectly synthesized the version of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has not brought in a word that does not exist or did not emanate from Lord Sriman Narayan himself. So Vishishadvaita is Vedanta, and Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Having thus far spoken, from the top of my head, I am now going to quote, as I'd like to do, especially in this series. And I hope my transcriber is ready, but it doesn't really matter, because I will give him these quotations so that when he transcribes these discourses and shares it in Sri Narayan Dham, then he has the relevant verses to transcribe. Okay? So this is the Brahma Sutras according to Sri Ramanuja, according to Lord Narayan. Okay? And I'm going to give you a story about this Brahma Sutra. For many years I've been searching for this book. Through the internet, and I was trying to buy this book, but I could not find it anywhere. And I even asked my Sri Ramanuj brothers from around the world if they have a copy of the Brahma Sutra. And they said no. So in my pilgrimage to Lord Sri Ramanuj this year in September, I went to see him in Sri Rangam. And when I came out, I saw a whole lot of books. And I bought a number of Puranas. And after buying a whole lot of books, when I walked away about 5 meters, the stall owner, the book shop owner, it's like a flea market. Outside Sri Rangam is like a flea market. And they have these bookstores. And he screamed for me. And he showed me this book had a purple cover. And from far away, it looked like Brahma Samhitas. And I didn't want the Brahma Samhitas. And I rejected. I just looked once, I saw Brahma written there. And I said, Brahma Samhitas, what am I going to do with the Brahma Samhitas? And Lord Narayan, within myself, as he is within everyone, made me view this cover again. And when I saw Brahma Sutras written on it, I didn't care how much it cost. Even if I had to stay for the rest of my stay on the streets, I was going to pay my food and hotel money to buy this book. Okay? This book is the foundation of all my discourses that you're going to hear. Every discourse, the substratum of every discourse is the 60 years of hard work of collating and synthesizing of Lord Sri Ramanuj. Prior to this, Sri Vaishnavism only existed through the 12 alvars. And it was Lord Sri Ramanuj, the first Acharya, 1,000 years ago, who gave Sri Vaishnavism through this book to India, North India, and subsequently to the world. The first and foremost Vaishnavite is Lord Sri Ramanuj. Vaishnavite means one who follows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan. That is a Vaishnavite, or Lord Vishnu. You cannot call yourself a Vaishnavite if you follow God in his other forms. When you follow him in his Vishnu form, then you're a Vaishnavite. And a bona fide spiritual master must be a Vaishnavite, because the Vedas come from Lord Narayan. And to expound the Vedas, you have to play for his team. How can you play for another team and expound the Vedas if it does not come from the originator himself? Your Honor, which team you must play for? You must be in the Vaishnavite team. Otherwise the Vedas will never be realized by you. You can look and you can lie to yourself and you can lie to the world. The real imports of the Vedas will never be realized by a non-Vaishnavite. And we can see this tragedy around the world, can't we? Can you see the tragedy? And we cannot blame these people that have misinformed the world. Because they were not bona fide Vaishnavites, they could not get bona fide Vedic knowledge. So there are many gurus around the world expounding various philosophies. They are building gymnastic camps, gym camps, yoga camps, mantra camps, living good camps around the world, aren't they? They're charging you $15,000, $10,000, $20,000. They're always charging for their services. According to Vedanta, you must open a yoga camp in your head and do all the gymnastics with your mind. Boot out anger, boot out lust, boot out greed, boot out jealousy. And through that exercise, you will come to know who the Supreme Personality of Godhead really is. Then there are other gurus who's denying God altogether, but the information they're giving you is from the Upanishads and the Puranas. You take in God's information and then you are decrying that there is a God. Alright? And fools will follow fools. Alright? And because this is Kali, 99% of the gurus will be fools, and 100% of the followers will be fools. So it's a blind leading the blind. There will be big gurus in this lifetime. We'll see them in the next lifetime. A Vaishnavite guru is always a Vaishnavite guru. He's born a Vaishnavite and he will leave this material body a Vaishnavite. He is eternally a Vaishnavite, because you can't become a Vaishnavite and then become any other vites. If you're a Vaishnavite, you're a Vaishnavite. You're on the highest platform. Okay? So I'm going to read you quickly. Vaishnavite gurus cannot afford these 2 mics. You'll see these gurus with the double mics, have you seen them? Lapel mics. Vaishnavite gurus do not charge for this information. So I have a problem getting myself ready. Vishwadhar does not need to transcribe this. We will send him a photo. We will take a photograph of this page and we'll send it to him. Okay, this is from the Sri Bhasya of Lord Sri Ramanuj, the Vedanta Sutra. It is 3.3.43. 3.3.43, and the verse reads as follows: On account of the abundance of indicatory marks, the Narayana Anuvaka deals with the object of worship in all the meditations. For it, the indicatory mark is stronger than the context. That has also been stated by Jaimini. And I'm going to read what Sri Ramanuj states in the commentary to this verse. The Taittiriya text immediately after the Hara Vidya declares in the following way, and I quote, "The thousand-headed God whose eyes see everything, who is Narayana, the imperishable, Supreme Master, etc." Here the doubt is raised whether this meditation has been identical with the meditation previously introduced, describes attributes which are indicated in that Vidya, or whether those describe those attributes of the Supreme Self to be included in all meditations as enjoined in all the Upanishads. The opponent favors the former because of the context, for in the previous section, Anuvaka 10, the meditation on the small ether is introduced as a subject matter. The small space free from all evil, the abode of the Supreme, within that is a small space free from sorrow. What is it in that should be meditated upon? Okay, so this might be a bit confusing, but I have already elaborated on this verse. I'm just going to complete it. The Sutrakara refutes this view and declares, on account of the abundance of indicatory marks, this section of the Maha Upanishad has come just to declare the characteristics of the Supreme Self, who is the object of meditation in all meditations. The Supreme Being is denoted in all those meditations as Aksara, Siva, Sambhu, Para Brahman, Param Jyoti, etc. Finally, the same entity is here declared to be Narayana. Here the word linga means symbol, sign or indicatory mark. There are many passages which contain indicatory marks. Such passages have accordingly to Purva Mimamsa greater force than context. Okay? So if you all do not understand, this verse states that this verse has been created to identify Lord Narayan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this verse is in the Upanishad. The Upanishad is the end of knowledge, and this verse concludes that no matter whichever other names are in the Upanishads, they are all manifestations of Lord Sriman Narayan, and ultimately that Brahman, the creator of the universe and all the living entities, is Lord Sriman Narayan. So we have concluded today through the Upanishads, which is the only scripture that can give a conclusion as to which or who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Today we have cast in stone, as per Vedic injunctions, that it is Lord Sriman Narayan. Narayan.